Hello my friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink with another video for the Picket Studios YouTube channel. I'm going to make a couple of Halloween cards using a couple of oldie but goodie products along with some of the newer release from the Picket Studios August release, and I'll have a link to that release in the description box below the video if you missed it and want to check it out. So we're going to do some ink blending, a little bit of stenciling, a little bit of die cutting, whole lot of splatter. And I also made them into 5x7 cards, which for me, I don't do 5x7 very often, but a lot of the Picket Fence products tend towards like larger cards, which is kind of nice. I get a lot of requests for that. So that's all I got for the moment. As always, I'll have links to everything I used also in the description box below the video. If you just expand it, they're all going to be there so you can check it out. And let's get into making these cards. So I cut some white cardstock panels down. I think they're 4.5 by 6.5. Pretty sure. It's just slightly smaller than like a 5x7 card base. And I stuck my cardstock to one of the paper inking palette, the big one, the 8x8 paper inking palette. And this is the Haunted Moon blending stencil that was released, I think this was last year. I used it in previous videos. There's also a smaller version of this. They call it the mini. And yeah, they're both kind of must-haves. It just kind of depends on the scene. I went with the bigger one because of the other stencil I'm going to use later. And I've got my stencil, and I used a bit of Post-it tape on either side of the stencil just so that I don't get ink past the edge of the stencil, because I do that and I end up doing it later anyway. But it's not going to matter. So I'm blending some shade, like gray shades of inks. So these are some warm gray inks, and I'm using my Picket Fence life-changing blender brushes. If you are not aware, Picket Fence Studios, specifically Nicole, the owner of Picket Fence Studios, is the one who brought like blending brushes into the crafting space. Like they existed in the makeup world, and she had the literal genius idea of bringing them into crafting and using them for ink blending. And they really were life-changing. I remember struggling so much with blending using like foams and things, and it was not my favorite thing to do. And then these came on the market, and I remember her reaching out to me and asking if I wanted to try them. And I was like, yes. And this is the same set. I've had these for, I don't even know how many years now. And now we have like a bajillion versions of blending brushes. But these are the OG, and they work awesome. I just wipe them on a microfiber cloth in between colors, and they're good. They're good to go. So I did my blending of the moon. And then I took my panel off of my paper inking palette. When I'm doing blending, like off the edges of my cardstock like this, like I'm pulling the, like this part right here, I'm just blending over the mask. So I'm using the mask from the stencil set just to cover that moon, and then blending a lighter shade of blue ink around that perimeter. So for this, I could have left this on the paper inking palette, the grip mat. But for this part, I prefer inking on my glass work surface when I'm inking around the perimeter. I like how the brush will pull the ink from the glass. It's a weird little thing I have, I guess, but that's just how I prefer to do it. You can leave it on your grip mat and do it that way. Like, it's fine. It's like a textural thing. I don't like how the brush like grabs onto it. I'll use it for die cuts, but when I'm like inking perimeters, basically like this is the perimeter. I prefer working on my glass. So I switched to one of the bigger blending brushes, and then I'm using just consistent or darker shades of ink. The first one was like Ocean Waves, and then I went in with Dusk and then Desert Night. And now I'm adding some black. And with the black, I'm going in lighter handed, not super heavy handed like I tend to do. This is just going to, deepen it and intensify it. And then you've got just this sky look. And I called this Spooky Skies. This is like spooky light. If you really wanted to make these spooky, like green shades would look amazing. Reds would that would look like spooky, like deep reds. oranges also. The sky's the limit. You could do so many different color combos with this, but I was in a blue mood. Not depressed. I was just in a blue mood. So anyway, I put the background into my splat box, used that little mask again just to cover the moon, and then I splattered my one of my go-to favorites, the Paper Splatter Watercolor Liquid White Snowflake, which is shimmery and amazing, and I'm gonna have to order another one soon because I am looking at the bottle and I've used up more than half of it now. I love it. And I use it on everything, not just sky backgrounds, anything that needs a little bit of splatter. So I also added white splatter. This was just Picket Fence white distress paint. Added that to my palette, swirled it in with what was already there from the shimmeriness, and dropped my mask a couple times. Thankfully didn't smear it on the background. Yep. So let that dry. And then I'm going in. This is the Eerie Night A2 stencil. Love this. There is a smaller version as well that would go with the smaller moon, haunted moon blending stencil. I'll link to them. I don't have the smaller Eerie Night one. That's why I went with the larger one. This one, it says A2. It will take up most of an A2 card, so it could be your focus. This is why I went with just a larger card, because I wanted more space to add accessories and a sentiment and things like that. And I put the stencil over the background, and then I was using the Picket Fence Paper Glaze Velvet in Blackboard paste. Love. So I applied that, removed my background, set that aside to dry. I did all this on a second panel as well because I made 2 cards like I tend to do. And to clean my paper inking palette, I just used a baby wipe. With paper inking palettes, like any photopolymer grip mat, you do not want to use alcohol on them. You do not want to use harsh cleaners, anything abrasive, things like that. Generally, a good wipe or a photopolymer safe stamp cleaner works. Rinsing it off in the sink, I'll do that too. Just don't soak it in water. And yeah, over time, they will get stained. Mine is still shockingly pristine. That's just a fluke. It will get stained eventually. Staining, not a big deal. But with paste, things like that, I just wipe it up and it's good to go. So after I did the stenciling, I'm going to add more splatter. Like I said, I did a lot. So I used black soot distress paint and added a heavy amount of splatter just to add to the spookiness, and then set those aside to dry. And then while that was drying, I pulled out the Happy Birthday Word die set. I really like these sets from Picket Fence. There have been several now that have been released. And I don't know, I got to think about these big individual letters, which is funny because I don't technically like dealing with individual letter die cuts. It's time consuming. I'm impatient and I get annoyed, But these ones are a good size, and I don't find them super finicky. And it's just a word, it's already built for me, so I don't have to sit and think like, what do I want to say? So just trying to explain the randomness in my brain. So I used just the happy word from this, and I die cut the letters from some navy cardstock, and I did 2 layers just to give it a bit of dimension. And then to build the sentiment, I'm using the Trick or Treat Halloween word die set, and I die cut just the Halloween word from some black cardstock, and the top layer I die cut from some black glitter cardstock, which you can't really see, but I'll show it at the end when I tilt it in the light. And I'm adhering those 2 layers together. So that's why I only did 2 layers for the happy word, because I'm going to end up having like 4 layers of cardstock, because I'm going to layer all of this on top of each other. So layers on layers of ink on top of layers of paste, on top of layers of splatter, on top of layers of cardstock, just that's what we do. It's fun. So to adhere those individual letters, this is another reason why I don't usually, fiddle with them, but ones like this where everything was lined up in the die itself, I used the outline, the trash piece to line up my die cut layers that I had stacked. And then I pressed just a piece of very low tack tape onto that to hold them all in place. So now they're all lined up. Super simple. I can now adhere them all at once. I don't have to sit and fiddle, because the older I get, the worse my eyes get, and the harder time I have trying to eyeball and straighten and, line all the things up. So little tricks like this make life easier. So I added adhesive to the back of them, flipped it over, adhered it to my card front, put some magnets down onto this to hold it all down in place, let the glue dry, and we're good to go. So once those are adhered, I can then adhere the Halloween. So now it'll say Happy Halloween. So I'm going to adhere that right on top, also with just some craft tacky glue. And this one was super easy since it was just 2 pieces instead of like a bunch of individual letters. So I just eyeballed. I was able to manage it. We're good. So got those adhered into place. And then in that Trick or Treat Halloween word die set, there's also little bat wafer dies, which I always love. Perfect for adding embellishments to Halloween cards. So I die cut a bunch of those also from black glitter cardstock, and then adhered these to the card front with craft tacky glue, just using the adhesive on the body, leaving the wings alone so that they pop up a little bit, just adds a bit of dimension without creating a lot of bulk. And then for the inside of my card base is a side folding white 5x7 note card. I put some of the Post-it tape right where the score line is so I don't blend past that. And then I'm using the Haunted Moon blending stencil again, and I'm going to blend this moon onto the inside of the card using those same gray inks. And when I first did this, I was going to have just the moon, and then I was like, oh, do I want to stamp sentiment? Because I always got to add something to the insides of my cards. And after I blended the moon, I decided to use the Eerie Night stencil on the inside as well, because I really like this stencil. I love that it was sized to perfectly fit with this, and I love the style of it. And I was like, you know what, this card is big enough because it's a 5x7 card. There's still plenty of space to write, etc. I'm doing it. So put the stencil into place, and I'm just going to blend black ink right over this. First, I was going to try and keep like a really light hand, and not make it, but that was looking really weird. I was like, this looks dumb. Like if I kept, I was like, no, I need to like blend the black ink like on here, make it look right. So that's what I did. And there's still space to write, all the things on the inside of the card. So blended all of that with the black ink, and then decided not to add any other like sentiments or anything, because I just like that like as it is, just like that. So I did all of that, and then adhered my card front to the card base. You could pop this up with like foam tape, things like that, but I like just the card base itself, just gives it a nice frame. And then as a final little bit of embellishment, I pulled out one of my Picket Fence gem mixes and picked out a few little sparkly rhinestones from the mix, and just adhered those into place with craft tacky glue as well, just for a little additional sparkle. So we've got the shimmer of that paper splatter, liquid white snowflake splatter all over the background, and then the black glitter cardstock and the gems, and like I said, it's spooky light, not spooky scary, but again, if you mix up the colors a bit, you could totally make it a lot more spooky, eerie, dark if you wanted. Just wherever the creativity takes you. So, as always, thank you all so very much for watching, thumbs upping, commenting, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Bye.